Which type of web services methods are to be idempotent? So, in context of web services and especially within RESTful APIs, idempotency refers to the property of certain HTTP methods being able to be called multiple times without different outcomes. This is a crucial aspect when designing web services because it affects how clients interact with the server, especially in terms of error recovery and automatic retries. Let's make a breakdown of which HTTP methods are considered idempotent and brief explanation of each one of them. So first, let's delete everything here and let's start with number one, get. Let's talk about the purpose. Uh, let me let's talk about the purpose. The purpose of it retrieves data from the server. Let's talk about the idempotency of it. Yes, it is an idempotent because making the same GET request multiple times will always retrieve the same data unless the data has been changed by other operations. We have number two, which will be put. Let's talk about the purpose of it. The purpose it updates or replace a resource at a specific URL. If the resource doesn't exist, it can be created. Okay. So it's idempotent because repeating the put request with the same data to the same resource will leave the resource in the same state as after the first request. We have number two is delete. And the purpose of it, it removes a resource. In terms of the idempotency, yes, it's idempotent because once a resource is deleted, subsequent delete requests to the same resource URL will have no effects, assuming no new resource is created at the same URL in the meantime. We have also some things like head and the options. The head, the purpose of it, it retrieves the headers that are returned if the specific resource would be requested within an HTTP GET method, for example. In terms of idempotency, yes, it behaves like a GET in terms of idempotency, but does not actually returns any body of the resource. We have the options. Okay. And the purpose of it is describe the communication option for target resource. In terms of idempotency, yes, also because repeating this request should yield the same headers and implicitly the same available options. Let's talk about the non-idempotent methods. First, we will talk about the post. The purpose of the post typically used to create new resources. It can also be used to trigger operations that don't actually create resources. In terms of idempotency, no, it's not idempotent because making the same post request multiple times can lead to different outcomes, such as creating multiple identical resources. Let's talk about patch. And the purpose of it, it applies the partial modifications to a resource. So generally, it's not idempotent since patch is used to make a partial changes. The effects of multiple identical patch requests could accumulate depending on the nature of the operation. Let's talk about some special considerations. Okay. First, we have two things we want to talk about. First is while put and delete are inherently idempotent, their idempotency assumes that the URL refers to the same resource and that no side effects like triggers and database that create or modify other data violate the idempotent nature. In terms of patch can be made idempotent if the operation explicitly checks and applies changes in a way that does not depend on a current state or the resource beyond what is specific in the request. So, in summary, when designing or interacting with web services, understanding which methods are idempotent is crucial for ensuring robust and reliable and reliable system behavior, particularly in handling errors and implementing retry logic safety. So that's it for this video, and see you in the future.